Hey y'all, so this is gonna be my first like vlog style. It's just sit down and talk. That's not necessarily about hair. I used to vlog before, like out and about with me vlogging. I'll probably do that again because that's kind of fun. But this is just me, the things that I have on my mind. So first thing I want to talk about is how quick people are to judge and how annoying that is to me. As soon as somebody does or says something that you think you wouldn't do or say, the first thing people do is start pointing fingers and, oh, she shoulda, and she's stupid, and how she let that happen, and oh my gosh, she's such a horrible person, and blah, 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 blah. But the fact of the matter is that unless you are that person, you are in that person's shoes, you are in that specific situation being that person, you don't know what you would do, and you can't judge what somebody else does. Like, everybody's life experiences makes them who they are, and who you are determines the decisions that you make in any given situation. You know how somebody can be like at a restaurant and the waitress can be rude. You can get 5 different people and sit them at that table and have that waitress be rude. You'll get 5 different responses because those 5 different people were raised by 5 different sets of parents, have had 5 different sets of experiences as young children, as teenagers, as adults, relationships with men, all the things that affect your psyche and whatever else. So some person might pop off and cuss her ass out, The next person might just blow it off and say, oh, it's a small thing, I'm not going to get into it, with a waitress. The next person may call the manager. Next person may see it as an opportunity to get some free food, whatever. Everybody's different. So I just hate how judgmental we are. And I think social media and the fact that these people we see as celebrities, or we see them on a different platform than the one we live on a daily basis, we think it's okay for us to just jump in there and say just any damn thing. Like, some of the comments I read and the things I see, I'm like, people are crazy as hell. Like, why would you do that? You don't know her, you don't know that person. And then what's always so funny to me, the same people that's so judgmental, let that be their best friend that do that. And let somebody say something about the choice their best friend made. They'll be ready to fight you under the bus. Like, they will literally be ready to fight you under the bus, talking about, oh, that's my best friend, bitch, you ain't gonna come for her, blah, 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 blah. But if Trina down the street did it that you don't know, you'd be the first one talking shit about what Trina did and why and how she a horrible person and she this, that, and the other, and need to take care of her kids and worry about her man or what the hell ever else. And then when it happens to them or some similar situation where they feel they will be judged, the first thing they want to do is try to hide it, sweep it under the rug. So my thing is, stop being judgmental. Then you won't have to be so afraid when you make a mistake, what's seen as a quote unquote mistake, because everything happens for a reason. I know it sounds so cliche, but everything happens for a reason. Everything teaches you something. It should teach you something, and you should grow from every experience. So I just hate to see people do that, which leads me to people in their comments about domestic violence and women who end up in these situations. And, oh, if an MF ever hit me, la, 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 la. You wouldn't do shit, because it doesn't happen like that. I am a victim of domestic violence. I survived domestic violence. And when I tell you domestic violence, I'm talking about he used to beat my ass, okay? Well, we used to fight because I used to fight him back. But he was a grown man. I'm a woman. He's stronger than me. And I'm not by any means a weak personality type woman. I'm very strong-minded, all the terms that you want to apply, strong woman, independent, whatever, was never that type. And that was the only abusive relationship I was in, and I was in it for a little over a year. But you don't know what you would do, and you would do what 95% of women who find themselves abused do, because it doesn't happen like people think. It's not like you go out on the first date. You meet this dude, he all fine and sexy, he think you all fine and sexy, he asks you out on a date, you say yeah, y'all sitting at the dinner table, and he reach across the table, wow, and slap the shit out of you, and you stay with him. And then people are like, why she stay with him? That's not how it happens. That is not how it happens at all. And just like everybody within their relationship, they may do some shit they don't tell everybody about. They may do some stuff they embarrassed about. That Negro do some stuff that you're trying to work on, helping him do better about. It's those same types of little things that start this kind of slippery slope where you just decline into a situation where you find yourself being abused. You know, the first time he says, no, 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 don't pay for it, babe. I got it. I got it. You think that's cute. Just like every other woman thinks that that's cute, and you let him pay for it. Now, understanding that financial manipulation and control is one of the first steps an abuser takes to isolate his abused victim. You have no idea about that. You think it's cute. So when it starts becoming a thing where he pays your cell phone bill, he buys your clothes for you, he gives you $500, $600, $700 every Friday when you needed to go do this, that, and the other. He pays the bills. You know, you're not thinking of it as he's an abuser. You're thinking of it as, I got a good dude that care about me, and he takes care of the things that I need taken care of. He gives me money, you know, he buys me gifts, he takes me out, he spends money on me. That is seen as totally normal. And for the first 3 to 6 months of the relationship, when he's doing that, you're not understanding that, you know, in a year from now, he's going to be whooping your ass, because that slowly morphs into, oh, well, where you going? Oh, well, who going to the club with you? And by the time you get to a point where you start to think, wait a minute, is this normal? I feel some type of way about the questions he's asking me or his behavior. You are far into it. And if you didn't grow up in an abusive environment like I didn't, you don't even know what those things mean at first, because you're not used to being abused or hit or yelled at or talked to crazy. So you don't even know what it is. So it goes on longer than it might for somebody who recognizes what it is. And even the people who recognize it stay because they're accustomed to being treated that way, so they don't see it as alarming like somebody else would. So by the time you 6, 7, 8 months into it, you're in love with him. He has these here and there little funny ways about him. And the first time he might grab you and push you, you know, while y'all arguing, you're not going to leave. So when people are like, oh, how could you stay with somebody that long? You could stay with somebody that long because it can escalate that quickly, that subtly, trust me, and that easily. And then once you realize what you're in, this is what people do not get. Over 75% of women who are killed, maimed, or injured are injured, maimed, and killed when they leave. So when people, why don't you leave? Why would you stay? Just leave. That's stupid. Okay, let me tell you a story. A girl I grew up with was with a guy. He was abusive. They had 3 kids together. She got tired of him. She got herself together. She talked to her mother. She moved in with her mother with her 3 children. She got a restraining order. She called the cops every time he came around. She just left. And you know what he did? Broke in her mother's house in the middle of the day and dragged her outside by her hair in front of their 3 kids and put 4 bullets in her brain in front of her, the kids, and all the neighbors, because she left him. And there's nothing you can do when you have a psychomaniac with a gun, because by the time you call 911, she's dead. You know how quick it takes to go pop, 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 pop? She's dead. So you don't just leave. You have to have an escape plan. You have to be very cognizant of every single move you make. And you have to be sneaky. They can't know, because for an abuser, it's all about control. So the loss of control sends them over the edge. You leaving is complete loss of control. It's going to send them over the edge. So anything he's ever done to you, multiply that by 1,000. That's what he's going to do when you leave. So, you know, people, just try not to be so judgmental on any level about any life circumstance, but especially about domestic violence and women leaving. I left the guy who was abusing me. He didn't try to kill me until 6 weeks later. I had been gone for 6 weeks, and he had been planning and stalking me, and I didn't know it, for 6 weeks. And he ran into my car multiple times with his car while I was sitting in my car. So you're talking a month and a half. I'm out. I'm gone. I left him. I'm tired of this craziness. This is good. I'm moving on in my life. And guess what? It doesn't happen that way. I was lucky that I didn't get killed, but the attempt was there. And yes, he did go to prison. And yes, I'm dead ass serious when I tell you that he tried to kill me and that he used to whoop my ass. And that I'm not that type that you would ever peg as some weakling that would be in a situation like that and wouldn't know how to handle it or get herself to safety. So just think about it. You know, if you can help somebody, help them. If you want tips on how to help them, y'all let me know down in the comments. I wrote a book about my experience. I have a lot of knowledge about it. I speak about this publicly. It's a serious issue, but it's one of those things that does not get the light and attention that it needs because we are so judgmental. 1. 2, we don't have resources in place because we judge these women. And 3, because it's such a dangerous thing to get away from. People die, women die on a regular basis. So yeah, this is my book. It's called Messy Marvin. It's all about my experience. It's raw, it's uncut. It explains the psychology behind how it happens. It explains the first time he kind of shoved me and I was like, this fool crazy, whatever, child. And that's just the tone I tell it to you in, just like I'm talking to you right now, so that you get it, so that you understand it, so that people who have loved ones in that situation can have some compassion and understanding. Because once you have compassion, your heart opens up and then you can be of service or of help to somebody who really, really needs it. So I will leave the link below where you can get the book on Amazon or my website. The ebook is also available. I'm working on an audiobook. Like I said, leave any questions, comments, whatever you guys want to talk about, leave it below. Send me a message on Instagram, whatever. I'm here, and I will continue to do more videos like this. They won't all be this serious about domestic violence and judgment, but they'll be about, just the shit that comes to my mind on a daily basis. And I'm like, is it me or was nobody else raised right? Because some people, I just feel like y'all just weren't raised right. That's what's wrong with you. But at any rate, talk to you guys later. I'm getting ready to do a quick hair video. It's going to be products that I use because I got a couple questions about what products that I prefer. And I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.